all the champagne was in the American team room. 50, 100 bottles, I don't even know what it was. It was all in the American team room. It had to be literally, sheepishly moved to the European team room. We stole the Ryder Cup. It should never have happened. And yet as a team we made it happen. I feel like you've had a week of golf before you even get to tee up your first shot. Even practice rounds feel pressure packed, and obviously the energy's already going, the crowds are huge on practice day. In a sense, you're trying to play for your selection too. You're trying to show some form to the captain. So it's probably a good thing that we just all run on adrenaline from Friday onwards, because actually your true source of energy is probably pretty much spent by the time the first tee shot comes around. I'm always confident in my partner when you play with Poulter. That's obviously he's the partner that you want to have. We had a feeling that we were going to play Stricker and Woods. Once that draw comes out, Ian's like a red rag to a bull. I'm just trying to sort of like, massage his shoulders and say, all right, just 12 hours, just try and, save some energy, big boy. But, to get off to a good start like that was perfect for me personally, and for Poulter personally, because he carried on and kept playing well too. It was a bad session, and I think the Americans were a way stronger team than us in the 4-ball. They had natural pairings, they had strong pairings. They were better than us in the 4-balls. Simple as that. Yeah, it just didn't happen. We just didn't make birdies. We were outgunned. I think that session started the slide. You haven't been spoken to like that from anybody but your parents for a long, long time. And, we're all probably, you get a little bit precious as, a tour player, and it was kind of, didn't quite know how to take it. But the only thing you could take from it was, this means a lot. I remember actually the first tee was fascinating.
Representing Europe, Poulter.
That was planned, and the crowd didn't take him seriously for a few seconds. And then Poulter's like, right, come on then. So he starts giving it some of this, and the Europeans start going, yeah, come on, yeah. And he's like, that's not good enough. Everybody, come on. My heart rate was about 160, let alone Poulter's. I don't think I've ever seen a man swing so fast in my life. I think the captain was proud of him at that point. He was willing to take the fight. It was just an incredible experience, and I looked over at Ollie and he was like, well done. Like, he just thought, for him it was a sign of, we're here. You can't intimidate us. point we're being beaten by a better team, and the only reason they're a better team is for some reason they had natural pairings that clicked. Phil and Keegan, they were a strong pairing. They played a lot of practice rounds together. Bubba and Webb, they go to Bible study together every week. For the first time ever, I think the Americans were the better united group. I had the privilege of watching the last two matches finish. It's so unique when you're actually not playing, but you're watching your peers, the guys that you would never normally go out to watch play, compete. And when they're competing for you, it's an amazing feeling. You're as nervous watching the guys as you are playing. You know, it gives me a lot of admiration for my wife and my mum and people who've watched me play golf through the years, because it's hard to watch when you don't ultimately have control, but you still want it as much as they do. You know, Luke and Sergio finishing that match off, fantastic, and then Poulter and Rory just making birdies coming in, that was electric. That was the turnaround. I don't think the Americans were worried at this point. 10-6, it was no big deal. All the American fans just coolly, calmly disappeared home. The European fans stayed back. And I remember going to spend some time with them down on the 18th. I went down there and was just thanking them for their support, but I was doing it more for me, if I'm honest, if I'm sort of telling the truth. It was to try and energize me, to try and feel the excitement from the Ryder Cup, because 2 hours earlier I'm thinking, really, this is what 2 years hard work is all about. This is what I've sacrificed so much for to make this team, and really, you know, I'm on a team that's being absolutely drubbed. Is it worth it? And then, yes, it's worth it. Rory, Poulter, Luke, they all wanted to go early. And there's no point in me also saying, well, I want to go 1-2, because that puts the captain in a bad situation. I mean, I played 4 at Valhalla, and I played Phil. And I beat him 3-2. Number 4 worked for me last time. I like to go 4. Give me 4. I might get who I think I might get. You never should ask for Phil Mickelson, because that's a crazy thing to do. I mean, Phil can be, you know, a genius out there. It lined up. And then it's a case of when you actually see it line up, you're like, be careful what you wish for. I'm like, okay, well, you've asked for this. You better go and deliver. And I don't think you ever look at a draw and think, oh, he's going to beat me, I've got no chance. No one ever sees it that way, but for some reason we just liked the way it lined up. Poulter's category, I'll deliver you a point, don't worry, captain. I'm like, well, you know, I'll give 100% for you. That's all I can do. In my mind, it was about putting blue on the board early, and I was 2 up through 2. Even though you haven't won the match, but it's signaling intent for the rest of the guys. It's getting everybody energized. It means something. The momentum. When you play Phil, you maybe expect the odd errant tee shot. But you know, he put a lot of heat on me that day. At the turn, I'm 1 up. I'm aware that there's electricity around. I was playing for the team. It's impossible to weigh up, oh, you know, okay, he's doing this, he's doing that, okay. All I know was, it's at this point, it's still important. You're hoping Phil's putt slides by because you're thinking, okay, if I make this, I'm more square, now I've got a chance. Phil makes that putt. Now, if you miss, you're 2 down, 2 to play. And Phil put me in the hole. I remember saying to myself, just make the freest stroke you've made all week. So, you know, not tight, don't try and steer it on line, just get up there and just make the freest stroke you've made all week. And it was a gorgeous putt. You know when you feel a putt and it's just hit out of the center and it's just hits the middle of the hole with pace. It was just a beautiful putt. And that was the most I've ever let out in any golf tournament I've ever played. It felt amazing. It's signaling my intent that this match isn't over. My insight on 17th tee was stay aggressive, deliver a point. Easy to think, okay, get a half out of this match. No, half's not good enough. In the back of my mind, I'm hoping he doesn't get up and down. I mean, that's not going to happen. It's Phil Mickelson. He hits a great chip, and then when he starts running, I'm thinking, this is it, I'm done. I'm now looking like really can't win this match necessarily unless you make this putt. I remember studying my putt. The putt went up and over a little knoll, a little mound, and it was how the ball fell off that mound was very, very important in terms of keeping it on line. The speed I hit it over that mound was going to be critical to if it ever got running at the hole. If I went too high, it would never break. If I went too low, it would fall off. So I just remember visualizing it over and over and over and over again, just trying to run it. If I run it there, what will happen? If I run it there, what will happen? If I run it there, what will happen? If I run it there, okay, that feels good. If I run it, and just kept running it in my mind. And I guess I chose the right one. Obviously, it was amazing to see that putt go in. My reaction is one that I've never done before, that's not like a go-to for me. But it was kind of like a bit of a defiant, you know, let's have it. Well, what I would love to have done was go crazy, high-fiving everybody, jump in the lake, do whatever, but you have 18 to play. That putt's only important if you win 18. If you lose 18, that putt means nothing. It got me all square. It didn't win me the match, it got me all square. If you look at me, I'm moving slowly. Walk, 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 walk. Slowly as I can, because I'm now trying to control the adrenaline rush. You know, I'm probably sucking in some good air along the way too, just really trying to get the heart rate back down to what I'd regard a reasonable position to hit a good shot. I tugged my 3-wood a little bit down the left side. There wasn't much rough at Medinah, so I was in this sort of first cut, if you like, which is almost a bit of a flyer lie. Phil hits a beautiful looking iron shot, I've got to say, and when it's in the air, I think he even says, be good. And again, at this point, I'm not sort of loving the outcome, but it's half a club too much. One bounce over the back, which is where I knew I couldn't hit my shot. That was the point where I then knew I needed to hit just a solid golf shot. Wedge wasn't enough. So I had to hit the 9-iron, but by hitting the 9-iron, I also brought in long. So I opened the face a little bit and I hit what I call a little hold shot in there. So I cut it up into the right to left breeze. And the ball came down softly, luckily, and finished pin high. And Phil hits actually a really good pitch that just gets up on the green and trickles down. At this point, I say, this, no matter what happens in the Ryder Cup, this is the moment where you can walk away proud of your week. If you make it, you've done all you can. The putt that I'm faced with is 12 feet, right to left. It's a nice looking putt, it's a great visual, it's the kind of putt you'd like to have to make. And Phil's on the same line, and I figure he's going to make it if I miss. So I'm like, this is the putt. If you make this putt, you can walk away proud. No matter what happens at this point in the Ryder Cup, you make this putt, you can be proud of yourself. And I remember working on my grip pressure. I remember trying to keep my hands light on the club, because at this point, the adrenaline's racing and it's easy to strangle that thing. But light grip pressure and just let it go, release it, try and make a free stroke like you did on 16. And obviously I've got momentum now. I've made great putts at 16, great putts at 17, but this is the moment, this is for the point. You can shut the door here. That was my favorite putt. It'd be, for me personally, with the emotions, with the feelings, with the finality to it, it was the putt that won the point. The one at 17 clearly set up the chance for me to win the point, but as a player, you want that moment on 18. You want the decisive putt, and that's what felt so good to me. And I hit it, and a foot away, I almost can't believe that it's going in the middle. And I turn, because I know that Rory and Poulter and a couple of the other guys have congregated front left of the green, and I know exactly where they are. They're behind me, and I really haven't had that moment where I've made an important putt and had to, like a match-winning putt, and have it be when the guys are out there following you. And I've turned around and I'm ready to explode and give it some with the boys, and looking forward to that moment of celebrating. And as I turn, Phil's kind of right there, larger than life. And didn't occur to me to run around him and carry on with the boys, because even though that's what I would love to have happened, the fact that Phil was there, it just felt, we had a great game. We really did have a good game. I remember shaking Phil's hand and saying, "Sorry Phil, you always bring out the best in me," or something like that. It just felt right. It was the only thing I could do. If I'd have run around him and celebrated the boys, I'd probably feel guilty or feel bad about that. So I'm glad that even with all the emotion and the adrenaline racing, that the right way to play the game prevailed. All the hard work had been done, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no. Just for a moment, it just felt like it was going to be that letdown. And watching from afar was cool perspective in a sense, because you see everything happen. It was kind of a really cool lens in which to watch it all unfold. The There's some great actual footage of my wife. She's right on the scene actually when Martin holds the putt, and you've got, I think, Sergio and Rory are right there, and then Kate's pretty much the third person on the scene. I was watching it the other day, and I just paused it. I paused and I took a screenshot with my phone, and I texted it to her because it's just an amazing moment. Martin, I think he's got someone in his arms at this point, and Kate's right there. It was just, yeah, I mean, those are lifelong memories. The nature in which we won the Ryder Cup was so Sevi. Never give up. Just find a way to get it done. It doesn't have to look pretty. And that's the spirit of Sevi ultimately. Celebrating as a team was the most fun I think I've ever had in my whole life. Being with those guys in the locker room, popping champagne, spraying champagne, saying things to one another that you wouldn't dream of saying to them at a tournament, you wouldn't dream of ever saying to them, but in the emotion, when you've come together, when you've had trials and tribulations and success in 1 week, suddenly the filter goes out the window and you're honest. You're truly honest with people. There's no ego involved anymore. At this point, everyone's raw. Everyone's just themselves for an hour or two. And that was amazing. I feel grateful for the opportunity to tell this story for not just 5 years, not 10, hopefully for 50 years. It might well be the greatest Ryder Cup in 50 years' time. It was that special, it was that crazy, it was that much of a turnaround, it was that unexpected. And to be a part of it, that's going to be stuff for me to tell my grandchildren. And it's probably going to get more special for me as I get older, and it's going to be like a fine wine. I'll probably embellish it a little bit. You know, that putt on 17 will be 65 feet downhill left to right, 490 yard par 4 18th hole. But it's given me a chapter, more than a chapter of my life, and that's what it's all about. It's about the memories you create. That's what an enriched life is. And Medinah's been a very big part of it so far.